My name is Heather, and I am 32 years old. Just 3 short weeks ago, something happened that completely shifted the path of my life forever. It was a night I will never forget, the night of my father's big retirement party. On that evening, he did something so unkind and so hurtful that I made a final decision. I decided right then and there that I was finished with my family for good. I want you to try and imagine the scene with me so you can feel what I felt. We were gathered in a very fancy, very expensive ballroom at a local country club. There were at least 200 people filling the room, all wearing suits that cost more than a month of groceries and beautiful flowing dresses. People were walking around holding thin glasses filled with expensive bubbles. Those drinks cost more per bottle than what some people have to pay for their monthly rent. The room was incredibly loud with the sound of many voices talking at once, and the lights were so bright they almost made my eyes hurt. My father stood up on the big stage at the front of the room. He held a microphone tightly in his hand and wore a very big, very wide smile on his face. He began to introduce our family members one by one. He spoke about his wife, Linda, and his stepson, Marcus, with so much warmth and pride in his voice. You could hear how much he cared. But then he finally got to me. He looked across the room and found my face, giving me that specific smile I have seen my entire life. To everyone else in that ballroom, it looked like the kind and gentle smile of a loving father. But to me, it felt like a sharp piece of broken glass hitting my skin. He cleared his throat and said into the microphone, "And this is my daughter, Heather. She has no college degree to her name, and she really has no real future to speak of. She just likes to get things for free from the rest of the family." As soon as he said those words, 200 people in that room started to laugh. They really thought it was just a funny joke between a dad and his daughter. I did not move a single muscle. I did not cry. I did not even blink. I just sat there in my chair, looking directly at him. Then, very slowly, I stood up. I lifted my glass of bubbles toward him in a salute and spoke loud enough for the people nearby to hear. I said, "Cheers. This is the very last time any of you will ever see me again." After that, I simply turned around and walked out of the room. As I left, the whole ballroom went completely quiet. It was so silent that you could have heard a tiny pin drop onto the carpeted floor. I want to tell you what happened after that moment and why I finally decided to make that choice. Before we get into the rest of my story, I would really love for you to stay with me until the very end. It means a great deal to me to share these feelings with people who might understand what it feels like to be hurt by the very people who are supposed to love and protect you the most. Please let me know where you are in the world right now and how you are feeling today. It helps to know I am not alone. The world I grew up in. To truly understand why that night was the final breaking point for me, we have to travel back 12 years in time. That was the day I was forced to leave my college education behind. I grew up in a lovely place called Fairfield, Connecticut. Our family, the Evans family, was very well known in that town. Most people thought we were the perfect example of what a successful and happy family should look like. My father, Richard Evans, was the boss of a very large company that moved goods and products all across the country. We lived in a massive house that had 6 bedrooms and sat on a very large piece of beautiful land. We always had a fancy, shiny car parked in the driveway, and we belonged to the most expensive social club in the whole town. From the outside, it looked like we had everything a person could ever want. But inside the walls of that house, things were very different from the image we showed the world. My mother passed away when I was only 8 years old. She had a very bad and very fast sickness called cancer. It all happened so quickly that I sometimes have a hard time remembering exactly what her face looked like without looking at an old picture. But even after all these years, I can still feel her hands in my mind. They were always so soft and she was always reaching out to hold my hand or pull me close. She made me feel completely safe and wanted. 2 years after she passed away, my father married a woman named Linda.